Welcome back to Roo TV, your station for weekly updates on UMKC and the local Kansas City community. I'm Marissa Leggio.
And I'm Rick Stickney.
Kansas Governor Laura Kelly recently announced that her state was awarded $12.6 million to help 13 mental health centers achieve certification as community behavioral health clinics. This certification would allow the centers to offer more substance abuse treatment, integrative mental and physical health care, and employment assistance.
This past Thursday, the Kansas City Current hosted a groundbreaking event for its upcoming stadium. This one-of-a-kind $117 million facility will be Kansas City and the world's first ever women's soccer stadium. The stadium plans to open sometime in 2024.
Starbucks all across Kansas City are rapidly closing as the coffee shop in Independence, Missouri shut down last Sunday due to unfair labor practices. A former employee, CJ Miller, said he was investigated for solicitation and defacement before the store's closure. Miller believes he was fired for unionization efforts. The Starbucks on the Country Club Plaza recently closed for similar reasons.
This past week, hundreds of Kansas Cityans experienced issues with potentially contaminated water in their own homes. A boiling water advisory went into effect for many local folks on October 5th, urging them to boil their water before using it. The advisory will remain until KC Water issues a cancellation notice and has already been canceled in 2 areas of the city.
And now a word from Jackson, Josh, and Afnan on the latest in sports and pop culture. Take it away, guys.
Welcome back into the den. I'm Jackson Ogden. It was another wild week in sports, so let's not waste any more time and dive right in. Men's soccer had a huge conference match against Oral Roberts over the weekend and dropped it 3-1. The loss drops them to 4-4-2 with a match at Denver on Saturday. Women's soccer dropped a match Friday to North Dakota State 3-1, but bounced back with a draw on Sunday versus North Dakota. They're headed up north for this week's action against South Dakota and South Dakota State. Volleyball dropped 2 more matches last week, losing both 3-0. They sit at 4-15 and have matches against St. Thomas, South Dakota State, and South Dakota this week. On to some national news, the Royals wrapped up their season last week, and within hours of the team being done, the team fired Mike Matheny and Cal Eldred. The move marks an end to what was a laughable tenure for both in Kansas City that, to be honest, never made sense to begin with. The positions remain vacant for now, but expect them to be filled as quickly as possible as the team is in the interviewing process currently. While the Royals might be looking ahead to 2023, 8 teams are still battling it out for 2022. The Mariners staged a near impossible comeback to knock off the Blue Jays to advance to the ALDS and keep my Mariners vs. Dodgers World Series prediction alive. The Phillies became everyone's favorite team here in Kansas City when they knocked off the Cardinals to advance and take on the reigning champ Atlanta Braves in the NLDS. The other matchups are Mariners vs. Astros, Guardians vs. Yankees, and Dodgers vs. Padres. In the NFL, the Chiefs and Raiders battled it out on Monday night in what was one of the worst officiated games I've ever watched. Chris Jones came across the edge late in the first half and strip-sacked Derek Carr, but because a 300-plus-pound man couldn't levitate, the refs called roughing the passer to negate the play. Arrowhead then took over the game and made head referee Carl Cheffers sound like a 13-year-old boy hitting puberty when he went to make future calls. Mahomes and Kelsey decided to just do it themselves from then on out, connecting on 4 touchdown passes to bring the Chiefs all the way back from down 17-0 at one point. Patrick Mahomes is now 12-9 in games he trails by 10-plus points in his career, which is by far the highest winning percentage of any quarterback in those situations. The win sets up a very exciting matchup between the 4-1 Bills and the 4-1 Chiefs in Week 6 right here in Kansas City. This week's Twitter poll will be, who do you think wins, the Bills or the Chiefs? Catch it on my Twitter, @Jackson_Ogden. Well, that's all we have for this week in the Den. I'll see y'all next week.
Guys, welcome back to Arts and Entertainment, and you already know what I'm about to talk about. It's Kanye West, okay? What's happening, man? Like, just black man to black man, what's happening? You had the White Lives Matter shirt on first. Tried to justify yourself. Nothing can justify a White Lives Matter shirt, okay? That just let down the culture so hard. We tried to defend you for so long, and you keep doing that. And then, today, I've been told that You said I'm about to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, and then said I can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jewish. Like, what are we doing, Kanye? Like, seriously. Like, I know you might not see this, okay? But if it gets to you, come on, man. We were rooting for you. We've listened to your albums for years. We've said you're top 5 rap artists all time. You're ruining your legacy right now. White Lives Matter. Yes, White Lives Matter, we get it. All people matter. We understand that. But come on, man. We're fighting for something more than just people matter. We're fighting because some people aren't treated like they matter. You got to understand that, Kanye. And then you're going to throw hate to Jewish people after you do that. Like, what are you doing? You can't wear a White Lives Matter shirt and then hate on Jews. That doesn't even make sense. What's happening? It's not clicking. Someone please get Kanye some help, okay? Please get the doctors, the mental health people. They all need to come help Kanye because I think there's a little more going on than him just being bipolar. You know what I mean? Kim, you really messed him up. I'm not blaming you, but maybe we should have a cleaner break because he's going crazy now. But on a much more lighter note, I'm going to give you guys my top 10 artists. Starting with number 10, Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. I know those are two people, but they had so many albums together, I'm combining them into one. If you want a Christmas vibe all year round without listening to Christmas music, listen to some jazz. Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong are your people. Number 9, I have to give it to Ray Brown. Most underrated artist of all time. Love his music. He was on my top 10 albums of 2022. Great artist. Number 8, I have to give that to Bryson Tiller. He just kind of changed the R&B game. He made that R&B trap style really just blow up, and he's done great, and I love him for it. Number 7, I have to give to my boy Andy Mineo. He's a Christian rapper, and I know that might turn you guys off, but really he just makes great music. It's relatable to everyone, no matter what your religion is. Okay, he's great. I love him. And then number 6 is Trippie Redd. And I know you guys hate Trippie Redd. I understand, but I don't. I love him. He's great. He makes great music. He's unique, and you guys need to understand that. Come back next week to see the rest of my top 10 artists. And thank you for listening to me rant again. Kanye, let's get together, okay? Let's get together.
Welcome back to Book Review. My name is Afnan Hussein. Summer is fading, and my book reads transition from romance to mystery, realistic, and contemporary. Today's book is Challenger Deep. Caden is on a ship that's headed for the deepest point on Earth, Challenger Deep, the southern part of the Marianas Trench. Caden is also a brilliant high school student whose friends are starting to notice his odd behavior. Caden is designated the ship's artist to document the journey with images. Caden pretends to join the high school track team, but spends his days walking for miles, absorbed by the thoughts in his head. Caden is torn. This book is one of the greatest books that I have read about mental illness. It is well-rounded, authentic, raw, and easy to read. Not only that, but it is unique because it has an unconventional storytelling format. Half of the story is told from Caden's perspective in his hometown, and the other half is from Caden's perspective on a sailing ship. While I can agree to the many reviews suggesting that this was confusing, I believe it was crucial to what makes Challenger Deep so unique and intense. The author does not glamorize mental illness. No one is being put into boxes. There's no sugarcoating. The premise of the book, the idea, and the message was fantastic. It brought a whole new level of depth to the book. The only tidbit is that where it was full of emotions, it lacked in plot. I found myself losing attention at the metaphoric parts and wanting to get the real-life parts. Later on in the book, they merge and connect, but prior to that, I have to admit it was a bit confusing. I would rate this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Now it's time for an excerpt. There are 2 things you know. 1, you were there. 2, you couldn't have been there. Holding these 2 incompatible truths together takes skill at juggling. Of course, juggling requires a third ball to keep the rhythm smooth. That third ball is time, which bounces much more wildly than any of us would like to believe. If you like this review, check out my Instagram at afhussein_ for more. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Root TV. Hit the notification bell and subscribe for more UMKC and Kansas City community news. And check out our Instagram at RooTV UMKC. See you next week.